Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of the podcast for Art for Africa. I've got Manuel on the line, and he's my business partner and a good friend of mine. And so I'd like to say hello. Hey, Manuel, how are you?
I'm very fine. Good morning.
What are you up to this morning? Oh, actually, your time. We're talking nearly two a.m. in the morning, aren't we? Where you are?
Yeah, I'm actually in Nigeria, and it's
Yeah,
actually 55 a.m. here.
yeah. And obviously the reason we have to do it this time of night, obviously, is because internet over there's expensive, and obviously you can't. You get a certain amount of free time to do
Yeah,
it. Would
that's
that be
true.
right? Yeah, it's a bit hard when you've got to do that. But so I just thought maybe if you could. This is our first podcast that we're going to be building, and you and I have talked about this as well, and we kind of have to tell people what life is like because people get stuck in their own little ruts in life, and obviously we got stuff happening in Ukraine and stuff like that at the moment, but maybe just tell me about where you live and your family and stuff like that. That would be a great start.
Yeah, I actually live in Nigeria. Uh, the last son out of four children.
Yep.
My dad used to be a reverend minister, stuff like that. So I really love arts. Like basically, I love arts. I used to live in a small town. We don't really have any university here, so you have to go to the state capital for um for schooling. And apart from that, when I was in my college, you had to travel up 3 hours to go to school and come back, stuffs like that. It's just
3 hours every day.
yeah, every day
Wow.
you go 3 hours going, 3 hours coming back.
Wow. That's so you obviously had to be up really early in the morning and ready obviously back home late at
Yeah,
night.
you really have to go very early in the morning. And my school dismisses by 4, so you're still gonna be on the road until probably 8. It's actually frustrating.
Yeah. And
Most
what's that?
times
Is that 5 days a week or 6 days a week? You have to do that.
that's 5 days a week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a tough way to start. So, and how young were you when that happened?
I started that from when I was 5 till
5 years
like
old.
God,
Wow.
yeah, that was when I was in my nursery section. So I had to wait, like, even after school, my school also when I was 5, I had to wait for my siblings to finish so the bike can actually carry all of us back home at once. So
Oh, really?
he does not have to go. Yeah,
So do you think since those times has things got better where you are or worse? Do you, or just
things are actually getting worse. Things are actually getting worse.
are
The
they?
inflation rates are increasing drastically. I think the inflation rates are increasing above even 50%.
Yeah, and
There were
that's
things we
indicative.
could buy.
That's all over Africa as well, isn't it? It's not just Nigeria, but yeah, that's so so give so we can put it into an example so people understand how much money things cost. Obviously, we're going to people in the US and Australia and around the world. So say if you need to buy a computer or a mobile phone, how much US dollars do you need to spend to buy say something with 4G or something like that on a mobile phone?
A Wi-Fi.
Well, like a mobile phone with 4G, so
Okay.
you can.
Actually, to buy a mobile phone here depends on the quality, but if you're actually buying a second-hand mobile phone here, it could cost you up to $250 or $200.
Mm, which we know that the average income in your country is about $40 a month. So to buy a
Yeah,
to buy a phone, we're talking about 5 or 6 months worth of wages to do that.
yeah,
If you're employed, if you're lucky enough to have a job,
yes,
at the
that's
end,
exactly what I'm saying.
at the end of the day. So
And basically, the thing here, the truth about it is, you don't even get a job as a student. That's just the most just that's one of the most annoying parts. And even people who are graduates don't even have jobs. So how do you expect students who are still working to have jobs? If you're lucky enough to get a job that pays you up to $30 here, man, you're a big shot.
Yeah. I mean,
Messed up.
I think like I've known you now for quite a while, obviously, and we met randomly, and it was kind of cool, and unfortunately, and I have to address the elephant in the room a little bit, is that a lot of people associate Nigeria, particularly with scamming and stuff like that. It is high up on there. But I've met a lot of people who tried to scam me, and then they've become my friends in the end. And it's interesting when you ask them why that they do that. But I guess from where I live, if I had to feed my children, I had no other way to do it. I would do everything I had to do in my power to make sure they had food on the
Yeah.
table. So and nothing would stop me. Would that be right, Manuel? Do you think that's the reason, or?
Actually, I would say poverty is one of the main reasons why these people go into farming, basically. Do you know how it feels or what it feels like to be the breadwinner of a family and you still don't have a job that pays you up to $50 in a month? I know people who earn less than $20 every month.
Mm,
These are people with families like children and they earn this small amount of money. You
yeah,
understand?
and
As
there's no
compared,
government support, is there? You don't get anything from the government to help you.
no, we don't get anything from the government. Nobody's helping you.
So, like in Australia, if you're unemployed, the government will give you a certain
Nobody's
amount of
coming
money
for
to
you. Help
survive
yourself.
whilst you're
It's
looking for a job.
basically you. If you're not helping yourself, nobody's helping you. That,
Mm. Yeah, and
what do you say?
I talked to another friend the other day who's and you know him, Sam.
Yeah,
He's struggling with his health, and he can't get a scan because it's going to cost him 150 US dollars to
yeah.
do it. I mean that sort of stuff. I mean, it really should. Do you think it should be basic human needs at the end of the day? And
Exactly. These things were supposed to be basic human need. At least we should have access to healthcare. We should have access to free water, at least clean water, at least food. Do you know how many children are on the streets right now without any of these amenities?
yeah,
I know a place not very far from my house right now with close to 60 or even 70 different children sleeping on the street every day. See, it's not getting better. Do you think if the children have opportunities to probably get a laptop and maybe internet connection, they won't want to scam people? They definitely will because they don't have any other ways of doing this. They, if you're gonna say why are they not working, they're not jobs at all. So how would they start? Where would they start from working?
yeah.
It's just so messed up.
Well, that's what we're here. Hopefully, and what we're doing with Art for Africa is we're going to try and show people what's happening first, but also I hope that we can help people like yourself as an artist and other artists
Yeah,
at least have a business and stuff like that. But you're not just an artist. You're studying engineering as
yeah.
well, which is
Studying civil
I,
engineering.
I find that's phenomenal that you've got that sort of talent. And I've seen some of the designs you sent through to me. Just they blow my mind off. And if I share it to a few of my friends, they go, "Wow, this is just revolutionary." So and also the fact that and I've got to say this to you. The credit to you is that you've got to deal with the challenges of data and all that with your phone at the moment. You're running 3G, and we're having this
Yeah,
conversation. And as I said, it's what 1 a.m. in the morning where you are. So
yeah.
and you're always up doing that every night talking. So
Night,
for that,
every night.
I'm so grateful, mate, and love you for it as well. So. Um, um, but yeah, so anyway, well, so obviously, when we got together, we talked about how we're going to build out for Africa, and we brought some people in who are going to help us as well. We've got Elkie, who lives in Sydney, and hopefully we have got some more developers coming on. We've made some great contacts around the world who are really excited about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess what we need to share is, and you can see it in the art that you've already put through to us from all the artists, and tell us a bit about what drives you to some of the stuff, like even that one that we use as our logo where you're coming out of the water. Um,
Yeah.
for me, if I Google it and look at it, I see you rising out of the Nigeria to yeah as somebody who's going to be strong and powerful.
Yeah.
Is that why you did that, or can you tell me how?
Okay. There used to be a favorite thing. This would be a favorite phrase that says, when you're in the water, soap wasn't supposed to get into your eyes.
Oh,
But
okay.
if you looked at my eyes in that picture in that thing, I was actually in the water and had soap in my eyes. That picture portrays we in the midst of mineral resources and we are still drowning in poverty. You get
Sorry, I missed that. What you were?
that particular picture portrays Nigeria in the midst of mineral resources, in the midst of so many other things, in the midst of riches, and we are still drowning in poverty. We just have few people out money from which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
picture portrays a lot. That picture speaks volumes on fire. This was me coming out of the water, even with my eyes well soaked up. It just messed up.
Mate,
Everything, everything.
it's a powerful piece of art. And it's out of all. I mean, there's some beautiful pieces of art you sent through, but out of all of them, that one triggers emotions in me when I see it every single time. So thank you for sharing that, Chris. Obviously, that's something that's
Thank you
deep
very much.
within your heart as well. And yeah, a lot of people tell me that I, that what I'm doing is it's great, but I've got to be careful of. Sorry, as you know, I'm still struggling with COVID at the moment, so it's probably not the best time if you're doing our first broadcast.
It's
But
okay.
but yeah, so I'm interested. So you talked about your mum. They've got a farm
Yeah,
close to you.
yeah,
Oh, not too close to you at the moment, really, because you've obviously had to move.
yeah. Not really close. I'm actually at the state capital where I go to school. My mom actually has a farm too, but not so big. Like it's not so big to be able to cover up for expenses and other things, stuff
Yeah,
like that. But
and obviously
actually a teacher.
your mum and dad are helping you out with as much they can do with money to obviously get you through your studies and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like that. And
can as much, yeah, as much as they can, but as much as they can't cover up my bills and expenses.
yeah,
It's it,
yeah. So and obviously at the moment you can't study at the
but they're
moment because you've got a strike going on with the teachers and stuff like that.
yeah, that's true.
That's
We
really
have
hard.
the academics,
But
yeah, we're on strike right.
and if you were to say something, because what frustrates me most about media is they don't tell us about what's going on. I mean, if you were to look into Nigeria itself, it's got 200 million people on a coast. It's a beautiful looking country. It has a lot going for it, but there's obviously internal battles that are going on with governments and stuff like that. And the other thing that struck me as odd, and there's a few things I talked to a lot of people in your country, plus Ghana and Nigeria and that as well, and Egypt and going down to Zimbabwe and all that. And the same thing comes true all the time is that we kind of feel like nobody's watching. Um, and, and, and,
Yeah,
and that must be frustrating. Is that,
yeah, very very frustrating. It's always very very frustrating to be from a country where more than half of the percentage don't earn up to $2 even in 3 days. Does that make any sense to you?
I, well,
These are people
uh,
who have families and children to take care of.
hmm. So if let's say you need to go down to the shops, well, for us, like in Australia, I jump in my car, I drive down to what we call Woolworths, which is like a shopping centre, and I buy $60 $70 worth of
Yeah.
groceries to get through for the next few days and stuff like that. For you, if you're going to go buy basic essentials, what is that going to cost you and we'll use US dollars because it's everyone seems to understand that a little bit more than if we put it into
Yeah, it's
the
actually
Naira.
we have to use years. Yeah,
Yeah. So what?
Uh,
So say you've got to go down and get some bread and some milk or something like that. And
the problem here is I can't actually get the exact price out because every day, I mean every day, things increase here drastically. That's just the truth about the bullshit.
wow.
Things tend to increase here drastically than in. I mean the inflation rates are high. Do you know? Last year I used to buy detergent for just 50 naira. As I'm speaking to you right now, it's 80 naira.
Mm. So 80 naira. So let's
Do you
just
understand?
yeah, just convert that
80
to
naira.
US dollars. What is so what have we got?
Okay, let's say I used to buy it for about um
I'll pull up my trusty
70 cents, and today,
I'll pull up my trusty converter for you, so you don't have to work it out too much in your head.
yeah.
So, so it costs you 80 cents for detergent. Is that what you say?
Yeah, detergent.
Yeah.
The
So
detergent we were buying for 100 naira then, it's now 150 now. Like it's more like 50% of it has added up. This
it's
is this
doubled.
is
It's
in less
doubled
than
in the
2 months.
last week.
Yes,
Mm.
it's less in less than two. Like in the inflation rate are increasing drastically, and everything is not favoring the poor. Nobody's making it easy here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's probably hard for people where
The
I
prices
live.
of everything is increasing, even with the fuel we produce.
What, what was that? Sorry, I missed what you said.
Even with the fuel we produce, the price on everything is really high. It's really skyrocketing, and it's not helping the poor people at all. These people earn less than even $10 a week, and you're increasing things this way. How do you expect them to cope? It
Yeah,
doesn't make
it's
any sense.
no, it
So
doesn't
coming
make
from a
any
country
sense.
like Nigeria, most times will definitely push you to doing things you shouldn't do. But
Mm.
I don't really think anything is it's still a good idea to
No,
scam
and
people
you
and
know
get
what?
money
And
out of them. That's
one thing it's taught me about getting to know people from Africa in totally is that judge. I don't judge anyone for what they do because I try to put
yeah, I
myself in.
understand.
I try to put myself into a
In the
situation of a father who's living in your country, who has two or three kids
yeah,
and a wife, and
okay,
they have to feed. There is nothing you would not
and
do.
has to do something to.
Yeah, there was nothing you would
That's
not do
true.
to make sure that you put food on the table that night so your child didn't starve. So
That's true.
I think maybe we lack a little bit of compassion in the West because of that, and because we don't see it. And I've talked to you before about donating and to big funds and stuff like that. It just doesn't get to you guys at all, and somehow we need to change it. And I'm hoping with Art for Africa, this is where we make the change. And so you've given us a bit of background. How do you see Art for Africa helping um, people like yourself? What? Imagine. So we're putting online NFTs, and for those who don't know NFTs, on our website we've got a big description about what they are. But we're going to be selling it for around about 0.05 Ethereum, which is about $150, and the artists are going to be getting at least 60% is going towards them. So they're going to be getting $75, $80. If you sell 10 or so of them and you get 750 US dollars in your bank account, what does that do to your life?
That's actually a very big change. This will actually help most artists, especially talented people, even people who are not talented, to cater for their family. That's huge for us here. That's very huge.
Mm. See, I look at for me, if like I've got $30, $30, $30 US, something, and I go, oh, well, I'm just going to get out and buy something from the shops. So I don't even worry about $30. But for you guys, $30 is it's life saving, isn't it?
30
Really, at the
bucks
end
is
of the day, it gets you.
yeah. Do you know what it feels like having that every month or every week? That's huge. Sincerely,
So
that's a
if
that's
we can
that
just get income to people in your country to even $50 US a week, it's just got to be a life changer, doesn't it? It just has to.
That's life changing. Do you know what it feels like to have $50 in a week over here? You'll be comfortable to an extent, at least you'll be okay to a very large extent. I mean, most people don't earn up to $20 in a month, and somebody's having up to $50 in a week. That's a huge change, you know.
Yeah,
That would go a long way.
yeah, it's powerful stuff, mate, and I think we need to keep telling that story and just letting people know because it gets forgotten, and it's not people's fault that it gets forgotten because they've got their own dramas they go through in life as well, as we all do. And there's only so much news you can put on that's bad all the time, and unfortunately, what happens is the worst news gets put on by the media because
That's true.
they want to keep us upset all the time. So
Yeah,
at the moment, the last 2 years have been COVID, and now it's Ukraine. But if you slip back to the 80s and we go, it was all about, Bob Geldof was doing the funds for Africa and stuff like that. But, once it's out of people's mindset, they forget about it. But I think if we can find a way that we can make it, well, I know we can. I think we've already found the solution. Is that not only can people who are doing okay in life or getting along can have something which is great, which what we're offering is an NFT, and again we'll talk about that, but with a bio of somebody in Africa about what their life's like, and you get to know them, and maybe you get to talk to them and have a friendship like you and I have, and I value our friendship more than anything, to be honest. If nothing comes out of what we do, just meeting you has been a breath of fresh air. So um, I think that's what we can do and to change things. And rather than giving $35 to a charity that maybe $1 gets to you eventually,
yeah.
maybe we've got to build relationships with people overseas. But you know what?
That
We have to develop trust, and trust is a really hard thing to develop sometimes. So hopefully what we're doing, and you're my business partner as well, and I was open and honest about that at the beginning. Is we're going to try and change the world, um,
that's true.
one piece of art at a time. So 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 moving forward, Emma, what we're almost close to getting our website organised and launching. And if you were to say something and you were talking to like you talked to me off the phone and stuff like that, or you were talking to people from the US. What's something you'd like to convey to them and let them know what's going on?
I'd like them to support us for Africa because this is one of the easiest way of and as an of reaching the African man, of changing their lives, especially artists coming directly from Africa. We are putting in our best in this particular project. Actually, we are, and this will change so many lives. Please, I would really love them to support Art for Africa, so we can push something, we can change something. If we have to change the world, we have to start by changing ourselves. And change start from the little units. It starts from the home, it goes to the community, and it goes to the local government, then it goes to the state and national. If we really have to change the world, then we have to start from somewhere. And I think Art for Africa is that place we have to start from.
I think you put that perfectly, and I hope what we're doing is going to change people the way they think, and it's not designed to make people feel bad, but you know what? It's designed to say, well, you know what? We've got this beautiful pieces of art. You can be part of it, and then help people at the same time. Um, I,
Yeah,
to me, it looks like a win-win, and we're very very open with Art for Africa. How much profits and that we take, and it's quite minimal. We've got three directors or three shareholders, and we take 10% each. Everything else goes back to the artists and the community and building the business. So we're not looking to make ourselves filthy rich or anything like that. But what we're trying to do is trying to help along the way, and also we see, well, for me, I see amazing ideas branching out from what we're doing here. So So thanks, mate. I really appreciate your candor and telling us about, because sometimes those things can be hard, and they bring back emotions and triggers and stuff like that. So, mate, you're a champion.
Thank you very much, sir.